Thank you very much for the opportunity to be part of this wonderful program by the Nigerian Association of Energy Economics. The ES is unavoidably absent because he had to take his annual vacation just a few days ago, and he has asked me to represent him. I would like to make some remarks and then we'll kick off this plenary session. As we're aware, we have already eaten deep into the time. We should have started by 2 o'clock. This is 2:40, so we've eaten 40 minutes of our time. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the President of the NAEE, Professor Yinka Omorigbe, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our lead speaker and the very distinguished members of this association. On behalf of the Executive Secretary, I'd like to say that NCDMB has followed your activities closely over the years. In the last 10 years, 11 years we've been in existence, we've continued to follow your activity. And your theme for this year's conference is quite contemporary and germane to our industry because of where we find ourselves at this time. Before we proceed, the ES has asked me to request all of us. 2 weeks ago, we were in Abuja here, and we lost a very dear friend and industry expert, Dr. Sanusi Mohammed Bakindo. He has asked me to request all of us to rise for a minute silence in honor of Dr. Bakindo. May the soul of Dr. Mohammed Sanusi Bakindo and the souls of all the faithful departed rest in peace. Amen. Thank you very much. So I'd like to say that this, our theme for this year, fits quite well into the energy transition and climate change discussion that has been going on globally. This discussion is actually focused on 3 key things. They are all in a bid to search for more efficient, accessible, and affordable energy. For us, we believe that at best, energy distribution, redistribution, or a larger energy mix is what is going to happen. We're not going to push out our own oil and gas resources because we have that in abundance, and we require it to develop our own economy. We also believe strongly that we have different policy initiatives by the federal government of Nigeria that are designed to promote the use of renewable energy solutions, to improve energy security, and connect underserved parts of the country. We believe that Nigeria has abundant resources to be a major player in the renewable sector. The key step is for us as a country to utilize these resources for the benefit of our citizenry, and in doing that, to encourage cleaner and more efficient energy resources that will also not impact so much on the environment. Whilst I totally agree about the discussion on energy transition, I am totally against any attempt, and that's the Executive Secretary, to demonize crude oil and force developing countries to abandon their natural resources to embrace renewable resources. In the next few minutes, I'd just like to mention a few things that we have done in terms of ensuring that we use what we have, especially our gas resources, as our transition fuel. The Nigerian government is not averse to energy transition. Our strategy is centered around gas. Indeed, our Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipri Silva, has said several times that Nigeria's transition fuel is gas. The ministry has not only made this known, but has taken bold policy initiatives, including the National Gas Expansion Program, the Gas Network Code, and the FLARES Commercialization Program. All these are aimed at utilizing gas to drive our own transition fuel. The government has also declared 2021 to 2030 as Nigeria's decade of gas and announced the federal government's determination to fully exploit the nation's abundant gas resources to accelerate the development of the economy. This declaration aligns fully with the rising global demand for cleaner energy sources. For us in NCDMB, we have taken several initiatives to ensure that we are also in alignment with the federal government's policy, and not only that, to ensure that the gas, our abundant gas, becomes our transition energy. We are using our various gas initiatives to project and create employment opportunities for Nigerian youths and to achieve the Nigerian Content 10-year strategic roadmap. I'll list out a few of these initiatives. One, we have a strategic partnership with RunGas to produce 1.2 million LPG composite cylinder per annum in Bayelsa and Lagos. We are collaborating with Nedo Gas, processing company in Kwale, Delta State, for the establishment of 80 million standard cubic feet per day gas processing plant and a 300 million standard cubic feet per day gas gathering hub. We're also working with Dupont Energy to establish 40 million standard cubic feet per day gas processing plant, 2,500 per day modular refinery, and 20 megawatt power plant at Igboko in Edo State. We're also involved with the Brass Fertilizer Company and the NNPC Limited to establish a 10,000 tons per day methanol production plant at Odioma in Brass, Bayelsa State. With a view to improving the accessibility of cooking gas, NCDMB is investing with Triancel Gas Limited in Koko, Delta State, to establish a 5,000 metric tons per day LPG storage and loading terminal. In the same vein, we're also partnering with Butane Energy to establish LPG bottling plants and depots in Abuja and 10 northern states. Another key partnership that we are involved with is with Southfield Petroleum to establish 200 million standard cubic feet of gas processing plant at Otorogu in Delta State. This project will produce 123,000 metric tons per annum of LPG and about 10% of current, which is about 10% of current LPG demand nationwide. I'd like to conclude by stating that African countries can survive energy transition and continue the development of their economies. However, we must be strategic, make deliberate plans, and avoid being caught unawares. In order to do that, as a continent, We must focus on building local capabilities and capacity. We must also focus on research and development, which is key to developing the technology that we need to continue to process our own, explore our own natural resources. And thirdly, we need to also have the enabling funding that is required to continue to fund our energy needs in Africa. Recently, the Afrexim Bank and the APO, African Petroleum Producers Organization, signed an MOU targeted at creating the African Energy Bank. We believe that that is going to also be a key leverage that we require to be able to develop cleaner and more sustainable energy resources for Africa. Having said that, I'd like to thank the NAEE for inviting me as chair of this plenary, and it's my honor and privilege, in order to set this plenary session, to invite our lead speaker, who is going to give us a taste of what the discussion will look like at this time. And I'm privileged and honored to invite a very distinguished professor. These are academicians. Me, I'm not an academician. So we'd like to hear from